GT Masters, and after the wind and the rain and the cold of Zandvoort, we're heading now to Germany for races 5 and 6 of this 12 race season, the second endurance round of the season. We're at what is arguably the home of GT racing, and it was that car there that took the spoils last time out at Zandvoort in the hands of Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman, the South African, earning his first ever win in the ADAC GT Masters. The number 33 car that this morning was qualified by Finn Zulav. Well, this is new territory for Finn. This is the first GT Masters qualifying session he's ever been in where he has not started on pole position. It was a really, really close qualifying session this morning. The entire field separated by 1.096 seconds. And in fact, the top 5 on the grid separated by less than a tenth of a second. That is how close it is in the ADAC GT Masters. Hello, everybody. Welcome along to this, the 19th season of this legendary series, and we are getting ready to go for our third endurance race of the season. The endurance race started at this point last year. Yes, it was a year ago here at the Nürburgring. We had our first ever GT Masters endurance race, and it has proven to be very popular with drivers, with fans, and with teams. So popular, in fact, that 50% of this 2025 season features endurance racing. And the man stealing the headlines this morning, Max Rice in the Ford Mustang GT3 for HRT. And it was also his sister car with Simon Vega at the wheel who qualified second. It means it's an all Ford Mustang front row for this race in the ADAC GT Masters. But one of the big headlines from today, and indeed yesterday, was the Max Rice car. Not so much Max himself, but his co-driver, Nicholas Callas, who has proven to be something of a sensation in the world of GT3 racing this year. Callas out on a track walk yesterday on his electric scooter, and he had a bit of an accident on that scooter, and he's injured himself, which is very bad news. HRT have brought in David Schumacher, who we all know from GT Masters last year, the legendary Schumacher surname, and he's jumped into that seat to fill in for Nicholas Callas. That is the point standings at the moment, just 1 point separating Leo Pickler and Simon Birch, Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman on account of a sensational weekend at Zandvoort, really closing in on the points. They are just 1 point behind. But Eduardo Costaten and Julian Hanses are in third, just 13 points back. Behind them, we have Salman Vega and Finn Wiebelhaus, Finn Zulav and Simon Connor Prim. So it is very, very close. And also, don't discount Dennis Bulatov and Nico Handke. And with Max Rice and Nicholas Callas, well, they were in 7th place. Rice will have picked up another 3 points in the standings on account of his pole position this morning. Conditions are absolutely perfect for a little bit of GT racing. 22 degrees centigrade. The track's at 29.1 degrees centigrade. We're not expecting any rain today. Tomorrow, well, that's could be a different story, but it's a very unique event here. Every year we come here nowadays. It's becoming traditional in the world of GT Masters to come and be part of the Truck Grand Prix. And it is at this event and this event only that we bin the safety car, and we have, yes, the safety truck. And there you can see it, lights flashing, because the safety truck doesn't quite circulate around this legendary circuit at the same speed as a GT car. It means there will be 2 formation laps for this race. So we'll have one behind the truck and then one without. But one thing is consistent every year, very much so this year. You can see from this picture that this place is rammed. I'm told expecting well over 100,000 spectators Masters here this weekend for this event, and we hope they are going to be thoroughly entertained as they enjoy GT Masters racing, some for the very first time. So the cars now starting out on the first of their 2 formation laps, and in just a few moments we will be getting ready to go with this, the 3rd endurance race of the season for the ADAC GT Masters. It is a race, we call it endurance. It's certainly longer than we've come to know traditionally in GT Masters, 80 minutes. So 80 minutes plus 1 lap. But the thing that separates this from your regular GT Masters sprint race is the pit stops. And that is, we have 2 pit stop windows that will be opening. We'll tell you more about that in a bit. The grid has Max Rice's 2nd ever pole position with Salmon Ovega alongside him, the 2023 champion with 7 wins under his belt. Juliana Holzem looking for his first win has Alex Fack alongside him on row 2 of the grid, and of course Alex is a leading Pro-Am driver as well. Finn Zulauf, oh, he hasn't got a clear track in front of him this time, and Leighton Fury from South Africa, they make up row 3 of the grid. On row 4, Nico Hanska and Moritz Viskerschen. It is Audi versus Mercedes on row 4 of the grid. On row 5, Mikael Jus, welcome back. Team U Sportwagen Technique for the first time since 2023 with Eduardo Cosateng alongside. Leo Pickler has a long way back for our championship leaders on row 6 with Dennis Fetzer for company in another of the Mustangs. And then in the Pro-Ams, Jonas Karklees has Simon Ladniak alongside him. Bringing up the rear, Carrie Schreiner. Good to have Land Motorsport back on the grid of GT Masters. Right, here we go. So the first formation lap has been done, and now the safety truck is poised and ready for action to lead these cars around. And the next time around, we will be getting ready to receive the green flag, and we will be ready for an hour of 20 minutes of GT Masters racing. So the drivers that won last time out at Zandvoort, Tim Zimmerman and Leighton Fury, are carrying an additional 20 kilograms of success ballast on account of their win. 2nd place last time out was Julian Hanses and Eduardo Cosateng. How impressive were they in Zandvoort? They've got an additional 10 kilograms of ballast on board. And the driver duo who finished in 3rd place in Zandvoort, Jonas Karklees and Emil Jördrum, they have an additional 5 kilograms of ballast on board. It keeps it all fair and square. They will be dispatching that success ballast after this race, unless of course they finish on the podium. So it's only ever carried over for 1 race. We've got, as already mentioned, some new names on the grid. We welcome back Team U Sportwagen Technique. They're back for the first time since 2023. The last time we saw them, they had Sven Muller and Finn Gersitz behind the wheel, with Mikael Jus this time and Felix Neuhofer making his GT Masters debut. We also welcome Tim Hutter in the number 6 car. Tim Hutter for Liquimoli Team Exler in the seat that was occupied by Dante Rapange and Baptiste Moulin for the first 2 rounds. The only consistent in that car is Simon Ladniak, who has been the other driver for the first 2 rounds. So you can see the cars in the late afternoon sunshine here at the Nürburgring in glorious Germany. We are just a little outside the village of Nürburg on a circuit that is 3.629 kilometers around. That equates to about 2.254 miles, 11 turns, 4 to the left and 7 to the right. It is a legendary circuit. My name's Brian Oliver. Alongside me on production duties, I have Chris Rogers, who's keeping his head across all the stats and hopefully going to keep us updated with all that's occurring. So it's going to be 80 minutes of racing plus 1 lap. The car's now heading out of turn 11, and very, very shortly they will see 5 red lights in front of them. Make that 4 red lights, cutbacks. And those red lights will go off very, very shortly. And in just a few moments, we will be racing for what will be race 5 of a 12 race season for the ADAC GT GT Masters 2025, a drag race of the Mustangs in towards turn one, and it is Max Rice who leads them around that first corner. But look at Salmon Vega keeping the sister car, a little bit of contact there, maybe a punt into turn two, and the stewards will no doubt want to take a look at that because there was clearly contact between the two HR2 cars. And your new race leader is Salmon Vega, Alex Fack in there as well, but the rest of the cars all fighting for those positions in that opening lap. But already a controversial start. Could be some awkward conversations over dinner tonight in Team HRT. A little bit of contact between the two cars, but it's Salmon Vega, the former champion, who leads the way. Max Rice into second, Alex Fack, Juliana Holzem still looking for his first win. Nathan Furry, keep an eye on him, he'll be pushing forwards, as will be the case for Finn Zulauf in that sixth place. So here we come out along towards the we've got an investigation for a false start for car number one. So the car that is leading the way is under investigation for a false start. So that's nothing to do with the contact that we saw as we bump over the Vidal chicane. The race stewards are very, very strict on the starting procedure. All cars are meant to pass through their grid boxes before they receive the green lights. And it might be that Salmon Vega broke formation too quickly, but at the moment it is he who leads the race. He's already opened up a gap. Right, let's have a look here, and you could see Vega, well, he did duck to the inside. Carrie Schreiner was also fairly out of position there as well, but the stewards will take a look at that. Car 11 also under investigation. So that's Leighton Furry for potentially a false start. So plenty for the stewards to be getting on with already, but Leighton Furry is in the orange and black BMW. Just ahead of him is Juliana Holzem, one of the Holzem twins, Sandra Holzem, who we saw briefly in DTM, and his twin brother Giuliano, who is a very, very useful pilot as well. Giuliano, who got his first podium in GT Masters at Zandvoort last time out. Right, Max Rice in that second place, looking, for my money, a little bit vulnerable to Alex Fack. There is confirmation that car number 11, Leighton Furry, also under investigation for a false start, and a penalty lap has been awarded to Salmon Vega, our race leader, and also to Leighton Furry. Both of them have been awarded a penalty lap for a false start. So this is very, very significant. Our race leader is going to have to slow down on the exit of turn one and is going to have to pass through the penalty box at no more than 50 kilometers an hour. It will be the equivalent of adding about 5 seconds onto his lap time. The same also for Leighton Furry. So Furry, who's in 5th place. Now, we may see this now, we may see it next time round, but the drivers will need to serve this quickly. You can already see Furry looks like he might be getting ready to peel off. You can see the box right. Well, Vega passed through it. That didn't look much like 50 kilometers an hour to me, but hey, what do I know? He certainly drove through it at some kind of speed. The race stewards will have a look at that. If they don't believe that he has served that penalty correctly, there's Carrie Schreiner, who has stopped out on track. If the race stewards believe that it's not been served correctly, then he will get another penalty. Right, Carrie Schreiner was running in last place for Land Motorsport. Looks like she's had a problem. Safety car is out. So those two drivers with the penalty lap, if they hadn't served them, they're going to regret that, because the field will now be completely closed up, and if they do now have to serve that penalty, they will lose a lot more places because all the gaps will be closed up. Right, so safety car is out because of oil on the track. So it looks like we've had a mechanical issue with Carrie Schreiner. So this is going to take a little bit of cleaning up, I think. So safety car is out. Now Schreiner, it looks like she was out on the pit straight, and it looks as though she's had a big issue with that Audi. So safety car is out. So the cars will reduce their speed. They will be in single file. Absolutely no overtaking at all permitted, obviously. And there, as we look along from the perspective of turn one, we can see Salmon Vega and we can see Max Rice. Now, let's just time to take stock. So 2 penalty laps were issued. There was 1 penalty lap issued to the white car that is leading the way, to Salmon Vega. There was another that was issued to Leighton Furry, who's currently in 5th place. So those cars would needed to have passed through the penalty box at no more than 50 kilometers an hour Investigation for Carrie Schreiner from crossing the track without permission. So her day could be going from bad to worst. And Alan Valente, who shares the seat of that car, well, he can stand down, probably go and have a cup of tea, because I don't think he's going to be getting behind the wheel of that Audi anytime today. So those two cars that were awarded the penalty for potentially, well, not potentially, proven a false start. Now, did they pass through the penalty box? We saw at the top of our picture Salmon Vega, and it looked like he'd driven through it. Didn't look to me like it was 50 kilometers an hour, and the fact that he's still leading the race would probably confirm that somewhat, because the penalty box is meant to add about 5 seconds onto the lap time. And I think it's debatable that Leighton Fury did as well, just on account of the fact that he is in 4th place. I don't have any visual identity of previous lap times, unfortunately, so I can't tell you whether his last lap time was any slower. But I would say just by the fact that where he is on the track would indicate that maybe that had not been taken. Anyway, that is for the stewards to have a look at, not me. You should be very pleased to hear. So we'll just presume that everything is as it should be as we see the cars coming out of turn 11 once again. Racing speed, they're up to about 240 kilometers an hour at the end of the straight here. Obviously, at the moment, significantly slower than that, while the Carrie Schreiner car is towed to safety. And there it goes. So good job done by the Orange Army, who do a phenomenal job here. No pressure, hundreds of people, thousands of people watching as they work out on the track. And the stricken Audi of Carrie Schreiner, well, I hope he's not trailing oil at the moment, because they look like they're taking it around the back route to the entry into the pits. Right, safety car is due in on this lap. So the cars will bunch up. Salmon Vega trying to keep the heat into the tyres and into the brakes. He will very shortly become the de facto safety car, because the one with the flashing lights, the lights will go off and that will disappear off into the distance. The only rule Vega has, he must not overtake the safety car. He cannot brake and accelerate and brake. He has to keep a fairly consistent speed, but he will decide when the race goes. Behind him, Max Rice, who may have something to say about that passing move, will be looking to anticipate when Salmon Vega hits the accelerator, and when that happens, he'll want to be on his back bumper. At the moment, the lights are still on the safety car because the cars are around at the back of the circuit, but in just a few moments, the lights will go off on the safety car and we will be back racing once again. So it is race 5 of the season for the ADAC GT Masters, the third of 6, count that right, third of 6 endurance races this year. We've got one today and one tomorrow. At the moment, our race leader is Salmon Vega, having taken over the lead from his sister car with Max Rice at the wheel. Alex Fack is in that 3rd place. We haven't even mentioned the pit window yet, but I'm going to tell you a bit about that in a moment when we're back to green flag conditions, because we want to have a look at this start. Right, incident between the 1st and 2nd place cars under investigation. That was the contact between the 2 HRT cars. So that is under investigation by our race stewards. Right, out onto the pit straight we come. We are back. Green flag racing once again. And it is Salmon Vega who leads the way. Max Rice in 2nd. The leading Pro-Am driver is Alex Fack, and he is in 3rd place. The rest of the cars heading into that turn 1. So, and there he is. Now he passes through the penalty box. So that is the penalty served. You can see Salmon Vega peeling off, dropping the speed down to 50 kilometers an hour. That hands the lead back to Max Rice. So that was for the false start. And you can see, because of the safety car, because the cars were bunched up, it means that taking his penalty lap then has cost him a hatful of places. He has dropped a long way down through the pack. There he is behind Nico Handker. So he's down in 7th place. So that has been a disaster. And in hindsight, Vega will have wished he had served that penalty on the previous lap before the safety car had come out. I don't think Leighton Fury has served his yet, and he'll need to do that next time around so as to not incur the wrath of the stewards. So in this race, somebody going wide there in the background. It's Jonas Karklis, I think. In this race, we have 2 pit stops, and mandatory. There will be 2 pit windows that open. The first will open in the 15th minute, so in about 2¼ minutes, and that window will remain open for 10 minutes. Then it will close again, and there will be a second pit window that will open later in the race with 55th minute, so that is when the clock has 25 minutes to go, and again a 10-minute window. And on both of those windows, every car will need to come into the pits for a mandatory stop and driver change, as we see Nico Hanske just having a little look on the inside, and now Fury peels off. He's into the penalty box now, so Fury has served his penalty. Now look at this battle that is raging on. Nico Hanske and Finn Zulauf. This is for what will be 4th place now that Fury's gone. But look at this, Vega already coming back and poking his nose in the white Mustang. So Vega, I think he will have the bit between his teeth to the inside, and Nico Hanske under braking into the corner, and Vega clearly with a lot of pace in that Mustang. A black and white flag has been awarded to car number 1 for pushing another car, so that will be that moment where he took the lead. The black and white flag is like a reprimand, and if you get 3 of those, you are going to get a grid drop. At the moment, our race leader Max Rice, Alex Fack putting the pressure on. Great stuff there from the Pro-Am driver. So with the 2 pit windows, there are 2 pit windows in this race that every car must serve. There will be a driver change, so driver number 1 will exit, driver number 2 will get in the second window. Driver number 1 will then get back into the car. In one of those pit windows, the team must change the wheels on the car. So there will be just one of those pit stops. All 4 wheels will need to be changed. Refueling is also allowed in the pits, and that will certainly be needed in one, if not both, of the pit stops. But for the teams that are changing the wheels, they will have to serve a longer pit stop. So it's up to them to choose whether it's pit window 1 or pit window 2 as to whether they go for their long stop or their short stop. There is a minimum pit stop time, and for all bar 2 of the cars, the minimum pit stop time is 100 seconds for the long stop, 80 seconds for the short stop. The long stop being the ones where the wheels are changed, the short stop being the ones where just the driver is changed and nothing else. But if that's not confusing enough, we also have the 2 Pro-Am drivers. They are made up of drivers that the title suggests are Pro-Am. They will have a shorter pit stop. So for those, it's 70 and 90. Their long pit stop is 10 seconds shorter at 90 seconds. Their short pit stop is 10 seconds shorter at 70 seconds. Confused? Well, you won't be. It means keep an eye on the drivers that are denoted with the green graphic. That's Jonas Karklees and Alex Fack, because their minimum pit stop times from pit entry to pit exit will be 10 seconds shorter than all of the cars around them. It means that they will be propelled in towards the front of the field, and that is certainly good for Alex Fack, because at the moment he's in that second place. He's tracking Max Rice. If he were to pit now, he would be well ahead of Max Rice on account of the fact that the pit stop is 10 seconds shorter. At the moment, out on track, it's Max Rice who has track position. The quickest car on the track at the moment is Simon Vega, and into the pits comes Simon Vega. He is getting ready to hand over to Finn Wiebelhaus. Also in, that's Dennis Fetzer. He's going to be handing over to Dennis Fetzer to Johnny Cicotto. Yes, that man, the grandson of the famous Formula 1 driver. So into the pits. Now we can see, right, tyre changes. So this is a long stop for car number 2. Number 2 getting their long stop out of the way first. It means that towards the end of the race, they will have track position. It looks to me as though potentially, I think that the number 1 car may have been having a tyre change as well. Look at this, the battle for the lead. That is Max Rice coming under pressure from Alex Fack. So Rice having to defend hard from the Porsche. That is looking very, very rapid. Out along the back straight they come. There is your first, second, third. Juliana Holzem in the background as well. Alex Fack, get the feeling he will want to stay out quite late in this pit window. Right, Holzem peeling off into the pits as well from third place. So that's car number 56 also into the pits. Right, out along the pit straights they come. Here come our race leaders. Remember, Alex Fack, we think he's going to stay out quite a long time in this stint, because to maximize the driver who is quickest, right, we can see that Holzem into the pits as well. It's quite hard work to see whether the drivers are going for their long stop or their short stop. But we're trying to work that one out. You can see from the graphic there, so they've gone 20 seconds over, so that'll be long stops for Piccolo, Cecotto and Fitcher. So Yanis Fitcher who takes over the number 21 car. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars that have pitted. Right, here we go again. So this is Holzem into the pits, Giuliano, who's handing over to his twin brother Sandro Holzem. So the team getting to work on the Schubert Motorsport BMW now. Doesn't look like they are doing any tyre changes. So I'm pretty sure that Holzem is going for the short pit stop first. Meanwhile, out on track, it's still Max Rice, Alex Fack. They are the first and the second. Finn Zulauf moves up into third place as a result of the cars pitting in front. Then it's Eduardo Cosateng. Then Leighton Fury, who served that penalty, down in fifth place, trying to close in. But Alex Fack wants to get the job done out on track. As I mentioned earlier, he is a silver-rated driver. His co-driver is Alexander Schwarzer. He is a bronze-rated driver, so Fack, by all accounts, is probably the quicker of the two, and he'll want to stay out late in this window, so he can stay out for about another 6 minutes before the pit window closes, and that could give him significant track position, especially considering the extra 10 seconds. But look at Finn Zulauf in third place, closing in on the lead battle. First, second, third, all still to pit, but they're now running all nose to tail. Fantastic racing here in the ADAC GT Masters, race 5 of the season. So we think that certainly we're looking to see which drivers are taking their long and their short. So we think we've worked it out. At the moment, it's Max Rice, Alex Fack, Finn Zulauf who are out on track. We don't know what they're going to take. Leighton Fury, Mikael Jusch there in fifth place, and then it's Jonas Karklees. Now Eduardo Cosateng in the number 10 car. He's also in. Cosateng, who will be handing over to Juliana Hanses, a very, very rapid duo in the number 10 car. So Cosateng is in. So we can see from the graphic there that Simon Birch, who is now taken over the number 14 car, has taken his long stop. We can see that Johnny Cecotto, finally got my head around the graphics, has also taken his long stop, having taken over from Dennis Fetzer. Right into the pits comes our race leader. So now the new race leader is Alex Fack. So Max Rice into the pits, also coming in Finn Zulauf. So the two cars coming in on the same lap. Was that in the script? Denis Bulatov is racing in car 16, it says there, but has he been in his pits? Yes, he has. Nico Handke is who he's taken over from. So pit lane getting very busy at the moment. Fack continues out on track. Predict that he is going to be quite late in to the pits. Right, here goes Max Rice, hurling the seat across the pits and now into the car. We'll get David Schumacher. We welcome him back to the ADAC GT Masters. Finn Zulauf now handing over the number 33 car to Simon Connor Prim. What a potent duo these two cars are in the number 33. They took a win in the first race at Zandvoort last time out. Would dearly love another win in their championship hunt. Certainly pre-season favourites in the championship. At the moment, Fack is still out on track, as is Leighton Fury. But Fack, you can see how hard he is pushing as the Porsche raises plumes of dust up into the air. But Fack continuing on his way. Now he could potentially get a couple more laps in, but he must not miss the pit window. If he does, the stewards will throw the proverbial book at him. Leighton Fury, now he's looking like, is he going to peel off into the pits now? Out onto the pit straights comes Alex Fack once again. Fury still in that second place. He hasn't peeled off into the pits. No, he hasn't. Out onto the pit straight he comes. Tim Zimmerman will be taking over the wheel of that car from him. Mikael Jusch, solid job there, but still to make his stop. So you can see the drivers that are denoted with the green wheel graphic, so to speak, they have done their long stop. It means they've done their tyre change. It means that when they come in next time around, their pit stop will be 10 seconds shorter than the cars that haven't done their long stop. As we look at the two Liquimoli Team Engster Lamborghini Hurricanes, they are fighting for position further back. So our race leader at the moment, 2.5 minutes of this pit window remaining. I would suggest that he's going to need to come in at the end of this lap. Alex Fack leading in the Pro-Am category and also leading in the race, and that really would be quite something to, if they could bring this home for a win. He should, in theory, be in a very healthy position when the pit window closes. At the moment, he's got an open track in front of him. He's putting in the times, still yet to take an overall win in ADAC GT Masters. They've had a second place. Team Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer. Look how hard he is hustling that Porsche over the curbs. Now he stays out again. He is rolling the dice big time because he will definitely have to pit next time around with 1 minute and 50 left. If he has a problem on this lap, he's going to miss the pit window. There in the background is Finn Wiebelhaus, who's taken over from Salman Vega in that 7th place. So staying out for one last time. Alex Fack into turn 1, round into turn 2. He comes now. He will need to peel off into the pits. Leighton Furry's into the pits as well now. He's handing over to Tim Zimmerman. So Furry and Zimmerman, great duo. Took that win at Zandvoort last time outright. Mikael Jus is in as well. He is handing over to Felix Neuhofer. Great to have Neuhofer here on the grid. We've seen him in Porsche Sports Cup Germany, and we've seen him guesting in Porsche 6 Carrera Cup Germany. There is the South African Leighton Furry handing over the FK Performance Motorsport BMW to Tim Zimmerman. Tim getting used to a very different kind of steed to what he's seen in the past. We've associated him with Porsches and Lamborghinis, now in an altogether different beast. The engine's at a different end nowadays. He's in a BMW. Right, so it doesn't look like he is doing a tyre change. So they are going for track position at the moment. So Tim Zimmerman, they put a bit of fuel in, but it's going to be a tyre change next time around. So that will be significant. Right into the pits now with 30 seconds remaining. The last car to pit. Here comes Alex Fack. So Alexander Schwarzer, look how far into the curbing Alex Fack went in the pit lane, certainly trying to extract everything out of his in-lap before he hands the car over to his friend and mentee, Alexander Schwarzer. Here comes Tim Zimmerman out of the pit. So at the moment, Simon Connor Prim has got the jump through the pit stop sequences. So Simon Connor Prim, but he has only done a short stop. So Prim, Wiebelhaus, Sandra Holzem, Dennis Bulatov, Tim Zimmerman, Felix Neuhofer, they have all done short stops. Right, that red P is bad news. It looks as though Tim Huter may well have gone below the minimum pit stop time. The car in 8th place, Tim Huter, who shares with Simon Ladniak. The red P means he's potentially gone below the minimum pit stop time on his short stop. Right, there is Fack. So Fack just getting attended to now. Should I say Schwarzer, because Fack has handed over to Schwarzer, and it doesn't look as though he has done a tyre change either. So you can see from your graphic that the cars with the green symbol, they have done their long pit stop. So next time around, they will have a shorter pit stop. Now, I don't know what has happened to Julian Hanses, who's taken over from Eduardo Cosseteng. He's a long way back in 12th place. So clearly there's been an issue there. So here comes Alexander Schwarzer out onto the track. Alex Fack has done all the hard work. Now Schwarzer will continue in the lead of this race, and it will be a significant lead. We'll see what the times are next time around when he crosses the start-finish line. Two cars under investigation for pit stop times. Both of them are the Liquimoli Team Exler Lamborghini Hurricanes. They are under investigation for going below the minimum pit stop time. Cars number 8 and cars number 6. So that's Emil Jerdrum, who is second in the Pro-Ams, and Tim Huter, who we've already seen with that red P. So we'll keep an eye on that. If it looks to be the case, then they may well get a visit to the penalty box. At the moment, Alex Schwarzer leads the overall race, and he leads the Pro-Am race as well. Now coming back through the pack after what appears to have been a difficult start to the race, Julian Hanses in the black and white BMW. So Hanses there has found a route past Emil Jerdrum, so up into 11th place, but certainly not what he had in mind when he started this race. Right, car number 8, no further action. So they have investigated the pit stop time. Car number 8 all okay for the number 8 of Jonas Karklis and Emil Jerdrum. Jerdrum, who's currently behind the wheel. Looks like Holzum is carrying a bit of damage there as well. So the pit window closes. With the pit window done and dusted, it is Alexander Schwarzer who leads the way. And second place is Simon Connor Prim. Schwarzer, who will again, when he hands back to Alex Fack, have a shorter pit stop time. Right, a penalty lap has been issued to car number 6. The pit stop was 0.3 of a second, 0.3 of a second too short. So car number 6, with Tim Hutter at the wheel, is going to have to pass through the penalty box, and that is going to drop him further back down the order. There is the 56 car, Sandro Holzum, in 4th place at the moment, but behind the very rapid Dennis Bulatov in the Audi. The gap between Schwarzer and Simon Connor Prim, 11.457 seconds. So Schwarzer will be going like the clappers at the moment to try and maintain that gap. Remember, when the next pit window comes along, his pit window will be 10 seconds shorter than that of the second place car of Simon Connor Prim. So in a really strong position to potentially take a first ever win. The car that started on pole position with Max Rice at the wheel has David Schumacher at the wheel of it now. So let's just have a look at that. So they have done their long stop. So David Schumacher in car number 3 has done a long stop. The car in front, Neuhofer, has done a short stop. So that will be places picked off. Zimmerman in car number 11 has also only done a short stop. Bulatov in car number 16 has only done a short stop. Holzum in the 56 car has only done a short stop as well. Wiebelhaus has done a short stop. Simon Connor Prim in car 33 has done a short stop, and Schwarzer in car number 4 has done a short stop. So the leading long stopper is David Schumacher in 8th place. So they will have the significant advantage when the next pit window opens. And good job there done by my producer sat next to me as well. We're working on the times, trying to keep you abreast of the story. It is a compelling story here at the Nürburgring in race 5 of the season, heading towards the halfway point of the season. A challenge. Holzum is seeing his mirrors absolutely full of Bulatov. Sandro Holzum in that 4th place. And taking over from his twin brother, Giuliano. Great couple of guys who are such talented drivers, but Dennis Bulatov is a brave man who stands in the way of Dennis. Really, really talented driver who is sharing those driver duties with Nico Hanske in the 2nd stint here at the Nürburgring. And now out along the back straight they come into the Vidal chicane. And Holzum just holding on at the moment. In the background as well is Tim Zimmerman in the BMW out onto the pit straight. This is the battle that you are looking at for 4th place, 4th, 5th, 6th, all running in a row, picking up a slipstream out along past the pits. They will come. The crowd looking on at these cars running nose to tail in towards turn 1. And they're braking. There's a little of a bump there under braking, then a fairly downhill section. You don't really see it in a TV picture as they go downhill and then round as a surface change around to turn 2. And then back on the power round turn 3. They will come in about 4th gear up to about 160 kilometers an hour, then into that 3rd and 4th turn. And then a slight downhill to the 2nd gear, turn 5, which is something of a hairpin. And testing the drivers here and their skills as they head out of turn 5 towards turn 6 into 3rd gear, and then it's a left and a right, and then we get into the really fast part of the circuit around to Advenbogen, which is going to be turn 7, 8, and then it'll be towards turn 9, the chicane. So now onto the faster part, the back part of the circuit. This fight for 4th place, and it is still Sandro Holzum who has it covered off at the moment. It's BMW versus Audi versus BMW. I think Dennis Bulatov is going to feel like the filling in a BMW sandwich as they come around the Vidal chicane once again up towards turn 11. Getting a good exit out of turn 11 is really important because it sets you up in the run towards turn 1. There is the pole sitting car, David Schumacher. Welcome back, David. So good to have you in the GT Masters. Last year, took part in a full season, took 3 wins, but significantly won both of the races here at the Nürburgring last year, albeit at the wheel of a Mercedes. Look how deep into the final corner he comes, and then out onto the pit straight. The 4th place battle still rages on. Still Sandro Holzem there with Dennis Bulatov, Tim Zimmermann, Felix Neuhofer. Good job from him in the Team U Sportwagen Technique Porsche. There is Schumacher, currently in 8th place. But remember, this could all change. Certainly looks like it could all change for 4th place. Sandro Holzem having to do all that he can do to defend for that 4th place, drawing on all the reserves and all the tips that he's picked up over the years, and now working hard to hold on to it. At the moment, Alexander Schwarzer leads the way. He is the leading Pro-Am driver as well, as denoted by the green box around his number. Simon Conner-Prim is some 7.5 seconds back. So Simon Conner-Prim has significantly reduced the gap from 1st to 2nd while we've been watching this. So that will be significant when the pit window opens again. You see a little bit of damage to the left front of the Sandro Holzem car. Out onto the pit straight we come. And Bulatov having a little look to the inside. Of course, he can challenge for that position, but if it doesn't stick, he's going to open the door for Tim Zimmermann to come sailing through. So he's got to think about this. He'll want to try and break 3. In the meantime, Felix Neuhofer in the background, closing in on all 3 of these cars. So the gap back to Neuhofer in the background, 5.3 seconds. So plenty of time at the moment. But Bulatov will want to get this job done. Zimmermann will see this as a double opportunity. If the 2 cars in front of him get together or slow each other down, he is going to jump through and take both of them at the same time. Schwarzer at the moment, the gap between 1st and 2nd down to 6.3 seconds, 6.349. So Schwarzer coming under attack from Simon Conner-Prim, but he has that shorter pit stop still to come in terms of shorter than those around him. But of course, it will be a longer pit stop because he's still got to do his tyre change. Let's have a look at the gap now, 5.4, so 0.2 just in a sector between the 1st and 2nd place cars. So are they going to get together on the track? Certainly, Prim is giving it absolutely everything. Simon Conner-Prim, great to have him in ADAC GT Masters, something of a celebrity here in GT racing, as indeed is Finn Zulauf. They have a great following, really talented drivers, and certainly real contenders for another win here over this weekend at the Nürburgring. At the moment, Holzem holding on to that 4th place. But for how long? Bulatov starting to look impatient. In towards turn 1, has a little look. Holzem has him covered off, just selling the dummy slightly. Bulatov trying to pressure Holzem into missing a braking point. Quite easy to do, I'm told, into that turn 1. Here's our race leader at the moment, Schwarzer. What is the gap? 5.486 last time across the start-finish line to Simon Conner-Prim. So Conner-Prim still winding him in. Then we have Finn Wiebelhaus running pretty well on his own at the moment. He is some 2.079 back from the 2nd place car. And then this compelling battle for 4th place. All these drivers are short stoppers at the moment, so they've all got to do their long stop. The leading car to have done the long stop is still David Schumacher in 8th place. That means that when the next pit window comes along, his stop will be 10 seconds shorter than these other cars around him. There is 2nd place still, Simon Conner-Prim, giving it everything to try and close in right out onto the start-finish line. It was 5.486 last time across the sector beam. Let's see what this is now. 5.486 last time. 4.779. So he's taken 0.7 of a second out of the lead. He is closing in quickly. The next pit window is going to open when there are 25 minutes to go. And that's one of the Lamborghini Huracans taking a very unusual line through the corner. That is the number 6 car with Tim Hütter. Tim Hütter, great to have him here. He has been racing since 2014. He's an Austrian GT3 rookie, so he's new to the world of GT3 racing. He used the ADAC weekend last weekend at the Nürburgring to familiarise himself with the Lamborghini, finished in 8th and 12th place. Certainly very useful, but this is a steep learning curve for Tim Hooter as he gets behind the wheel of that car, and I think he may have had a bit of a moment there. Certainly, he's allowed to make a few mistakes. It's very much a learning curve for him at this time. Just getting into the GT3 racing in at the deep end. Right, the gap, 4.779 last time between first and second place. So Simon Conner-Prim doing all that he can to close in. Finn Wiebelhaus running on his own. Then this battle for fourth continues to rage on. All these drivers have got to do their longer pit stop yet. So this is going to really turn this field upside down once we go through the next pit window. Still looking at that damage, which is not helping Holzem at all on the front left of the car, just low down. Right, Bulatov once again. Now, they've broken clear of Tim Zimmerman, so this is going to be Bulatov's opportunity, and he'll know that. They've managed to break clear of Zimmerman a bit, so will Bulatov be able to make a challenge? He's certainly snuggled up close behind the BMW, doesn't seem to have the legs going along the pit straight despite the slipstream. He tries to take a tighter line into turn one, but certainly there seems to be more grunt in the Holzem car. And Bulatov, he's able to close up on the windy sections of the circuit, but just on those points where it looks like he might be able to make a move for the lead, certainly in terms of grunt, he's not able to get past. So maybe it's just trying to force Holzem into a mistake. Now Zimmerman, for whatever reason, had a slow lap last time around and is now closed back in on this battle. So the fourth place battle rages on. There is our leader, and now very much in the same shot. Simon Conner-Prim has been taking a lot of time out of that lead car. 4.2 seconds last time around. We'll see what it is next time. The fourth place battle. This feels like it's been raging on for most of the race, and it's going to continue probably until the next pit window opens, and we're getting pretty close to that. We're still not too long to go until that happens. Fourth, fifth, sixth, bumping over the curbs through the Vidal chicane. Still nothing changing at the moment. You can see from your graphics, 3.285. So Simon Conner-Prim taking chunks out of the lead. The fourth place cars out onto the pit straight. Once again, the slipstream coming into effect, but it doesn't seem to be enough for Denis Bulatov. Once again, he's just tucked up behind, but he hasn't got the legs. He ducks to the inside into turn one, under braking. Has he got a gap? Is it going to be a bit of a dive bomb? Well, Holzem goes deep into the corner. Now Bulatov, this is the opportunity. Will he cut back to the inside around turn two? Holzem looks to have him covered up. Maybe the smallest of love taps from Denis Bulatov, but still Holzem, sterling job there in that fourth place, positioning that BMW exactly where he needed to. Tim Zimmerman sees the opportunity now, starts to close in on Bulatov as well. This fight for fourth place, the grunt of the BMWs seems to be that the Audi has just a little bit more handling through the nimble parts of the circuit, but it's along the straights where it doesn't have the power to get past. The number 16 car, that is prepared by Shera Sport PHX, the team that have risen from the ashes of Phoenix Racing. Their base is just across the road from here at the Nürburgring. You literally cross the road, there's an industrial estate, and there is the Shera Sport PHX base. And Ernst Moser, who used to run the team, is now his son Ron Moser taking over the running of the team that was once Phoenix. Great to have them back in the ADAC GT Masters. And there is the number one car with Finn Wiebelhaus at the wheel, HRT. They're also just based across the road from this circuit. Haupt Racing, the team headed up by Hubert Haupt, and they literally can nip back to the factory between races for a cup of tea if they were to do such a thing. There is Simon Conner-Prim in second place, still giving it the large. 2.589 last time across the start-finish line, but that is closing in every sector into Alexander Schwartz, who is leading the way for Team Alex. The Pro-Am pairing still looking for their first ever overall win. Right, we've got a yellow in turn three. Somebody clearly had a moment, but that is now cleared, so no issues there. But it is still Alexander Schwarzer leading the way. So Schwarzer and Fack have been a duo that have been a Pro-Am partnership in ADAC GT Masters since it was relaunched a couple of years ago, and they have had a second place at Zandvoort last year and also at Spa, but still looking for that first overall win. Certainly they are tied at the top of the Pro-Am standings. We didn't mention the Pro-Am standings coming into this race. In the Pro-Am Championship, it is level, 100 points each between Emil Jerdrum and Jonas Karklees and Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer. So every point is vital here. Emil Jerdrum, second of the Pro-Ams, down in 12th place at the moment. Right out along the line we come once again. The gap between first and second, 2.138. That is the gap between first and second. Then 3.659 back is Finn Wiebelhaus. Then this battle for fourth place. Again, Bulatov trying what he did on the last lap. He's got a gap on the inside, but Holzem goes to block. Then he ducks back to the inside. Did he make the move stick? Doesn't look like he did. No, he didn't. So you saw him almost make it happen. He ducked back to the inside on the exit of turn 2. In the background, Tim Zimmerman also not able to do anything about the two cars in front. So, fourth place, Sandro Holzem, Dennis Bulatov, car 16 behind him, having taken over from Nico Handke. Look at Bulatov, looking to the left, looking to the right. He now knows that he can't get past that car in straight line speed alone. He's got to force the Holzem car into a mistake. He's got to make him move to defend and leave a gap. But all the while, in the background, Tim Zimmerman in 6th place is poised and ready to pounce. Felix Neuhofer in 7th on his debut in ADAC GT Masters. Great job by him in 7th place. That's pretty solid, I would say. Look at this. First and second, 1.606 is the gap between first and second. Then a gap of 5.3 back to Finn Wiebelhaus. Then a fairly lengthy gap back to this fight that you're seeing here. They're a long way back from the battle, but this is all going to turn on its head once the second pit window has been and gone. There is the second place car, Simon Conner Prim. We've seen him coming through the ranks of ADAC racing. Very much a star in ADAC GT4 Germany for a number of years before moving up to the big league. Finn Wiebelhaus, another of the superstars, just a couple of years ago was racing in Formula 4 in France, now switching from single-seaters to GT racing. Very, very much a favourite, a future champion. There is the second place car. So we're getting close to the second pit window opening. 25 minutes to go. We're about 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes, and then this is going to turn on its head. And we are going to see the front-running cars all taking longer stops. Alexander Schwarzer, when he hands back to Alex Fack, will need to take his longest stop, but it will still be shorter than that of those around him. As we look at fourth place, still continuing out. No changes yet. What has Dennis Bulatov got to do to find a route past Sandro Holzem? Holzem monstering the BMW over the chicane. Bulatov now to the outside. He's going to try and get a good exit out of turn 11, out onto the pit straight. He knows that that is his best opportunity to try and get past into turn 1. But the lead battle is also closing. We've got battles happening up and down the field. It is just 6 tenths between first and second now, 0.693, so just a little under 7 tenths between these two cars. But I think even since I have mentioned it, that gap has closed down. Alexander Schwarzer, the bronze-rated driver, the only driver who is bronze-rated in the field, very much in the Pro-Am category. So he's doing a great job. Is coached and tutored by his co-driver, Alex Fack. But at the moment, he has the mighty Simon Conner Prim bearing down on him. Car number 10 must fall back behind car number 2 for forcing another car off the track. So that is an instruction from race control to Julian Hanset, who has been fairly anonymous in this race. He's down in 10th place, and he's been told to fall back behind Jonathan Chicotto. So clearly there has been an issue there that's happened off camera, and he's been told to fall back behind him. But our focus very much at the moment is on this battle that we are seeing here for the lead of the race. Here we go then. You no longer need a gap time here. You can see it with your eyes out along the pit straight. Once again, Alexander Schwarzer, Simon Conner Prim, but For those of you who are cheering the FAC Autotech Porsche, do not despair whatever happens, because they have that shorter pit stop to come and the silver-rated Alex Fack to take over the wheel of that car. At the moment, Simon Conner-Prim needs to get past, needs to open up as big a gap as he possibly can over the number 4 car, because that is going to benefit Finn Zulauf, his co-pilot, after the second pit window. Under braking once again. This is first and second. This is for the lead of this race 5 of a 12-race season for the ADAC GT Masters. Alexander Schwarzer leading the way in the oval race, leading in the Pro-Am category as well. Simon Conner-Prim in second place. Finn Wiebelhaus in the background. Wiebelhaus looks to be closing in on this battle as well, 3.2 seconds back. So Wiebelhaus is also closing in on this duo. But remember, Schumacher in 7th place has a shorter pit stop to come compared to those in front of him. Flashing the lights, doing what they can to distract. 32 minutes remaining of this race. Great job from all these drivers here, bumping across the Vidal chicane once again. The fight for the lead, first, second, third. This is shaping up to be a grandstand finish in the ADAC GT Masters. Out onto the pit straight once again. The gap between second and third was 3.26 last time. Is Wiebelhaus closing in on this lead battle? You bet he is. 2.6 now. So Finn Wiebelhaus has taken a second out of the lead battle. Look at this lot, all fighting. This is 4th place. Zimmerman has found a route past Bulatov, but look at Schumacher in there as well. So Schumacher looking to demote Dennis Bulatov. It looks as though Bulatov made his challenge on Holzem. Looks as like it didn't stick. It looks like Zimmerman has cashed in, but David Schumacher in the Mustang. Did he make contact with Bulatov into turn 1? You saw some smoke rising up into the air. This is for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Also there as well. Simon Birch rushing to join this battle around the outside of both Bulatov and Zimmerman goes David Schumacher. So he's now going to set about after Sandro Holzem. And Schumacher, who's in a very strong position, having done his long stop already, along with Max Rice, who's looking for his first ever win in ADAC GT Masters, and that could well be the case once the pit window is done and dusted. But we still got 30 minutes of racing left. This is for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Simon Birch has really been putting the power on here. Up into 8th place, he's kind of appeared out of nowhere, been fairly anonymous up until this point, but now Simon Birch up there as well and fighting for position, and he has done his long pit stop, so he is in a strong position once the pit window closes. Here we go. Look at this. The first 3 as well. Oh, we're going to need a split screen at this rate. We've got so many battles going on. Now challenging to the inside. Simon Conner-Prim knows that he needs to get past Alexander Schwarzer, get a bit of a gap so that when the next pit window is done and dusted, there is still plenty of room despite the car in front taking that shorter pit stop. So Alexander Schwarzer in the lead in the red and white Porsche. Simon Conner-Prim in the blue Lamborghini in the background. Look at this. Now Schumacher just saying this is how it's done, sailing past Sandro Holzem in the BMW. The Mustang coming out on top, so Schumacher up into that 4th place. Zimmerman is behind Holzem. Dennis Bulatov probably scratching his head going, what on earth just happened? He was challenging for 4th just now, and now he's back in 7th place and defending from Simon Birch in the number 14 car. The car that leads the championship. Simon Birch along with Leo Pickler. Very, very strong pairing. Won both races at the season opener. A clean sheet of paper at the Lausitz Ring. And very much championship favourites coming into this season. Still, Simon Conner-Prim can't find a route past Alexander Schwarzer. And you get the feeling that when the pit window opens again in 4 minutes' time, there may be a bit of strategy here. And I get the feeling that the number 33 team of Powell Motorsport might call the car in nice and early to try and get a jump on the Porsche. But of course, the Porsche will be stationary for less time than the car behind it. But they have both got to serve their long stop yet. So still all to play for. This is still all set to be turned upside down. in the closing stages of this race 5 of the season. This is the battle for the lead here at the Nürburgring. It's still Alexander Schwarzer, Simon Conner-Prim first and second. Finn Wiebelhaus is behind by 1.573, so he has taken chunks out of the lead. And as long as Simon Conner-Prim is struggling to get past Alexander Schwarzer, that is playing into the hands of Finn Wiebelhaus. But the person with all the cards at the moment is the 4th placed David Schumacher, who will take a shorter pit stop, certainly than the 3 cars in front of him. So when the pit window is done and dusted, David Schumacher will need to take a pit stop that is 80 seconds. And the number 4 car will need to take a pit stop that is 90 seconds because they've still got to do their longer stop. So Schumacher will take a shorter pit stop than all of the cars in front, and is in a strong position to jump back to the lead of this race. Sandra Holzem just behind in the number 56 car. Holzem, who still has to do a long pit stop, so he's going to drop down the order, he and his brother. At the moment, this is first, second, third. Wiebelhaus still to do his long stop. Look at Dennis Bulatov continuing to pressure the number 11 car, Tim Zimmermann. So Bulatov, you can't knock him for trying, can you? He has given everything here. I think just struggling for pace in that Audi. He's thrown everything at it. But the car in the box seats at the moment is car number 3. And at the moment, Max Rice will be in the pits, limbering up, getting ready to take over. Bulatov to the inside of Zimmermann, doing what he did earlier on, but in so doing, leaves himself vulnerable to Simon Birch. Now trying to go the long way around, turns 2 and 3. Trying to keep it together. Birch late braking into the corner. And now Bulatov to the inside, then to the outside. Simon Birch trying to follow through as well, trying to give a push to the Audi in front. Which one is Birch going to follow? To the left, to the right? So Holzem, how long has Holzem been holding on to that position? 5th place, Sandra Holzem, Tim Zimmermann there as well, Simon Birch. What a great driving from Simon Birch. The young driver who was in GT4 last year has proven to be something of a sensation behind the wheel of GT3 every time we have seen him, and showing that now in 8th place. But for how much longer? Because Dennis Bulatov looking very vulnerable to the Porsche behind. We are 1 minute away from the pit window reopening. The gap between first and second has stretched to 4/10. And I get the feeling that maybe Simon Conner-Prim is going to peel off quite early from this pit window. And well, when the pit window opens, he's going to peel off quite early and potentially try and get the jump in the pits of the number 4 car in front of him. So, which of course he will do on account of the length of the pit stops. No, he won't. It'll be longer, won't it? 10 seconds longer. Keep up. 3rd place at Finn Wiebelhaus, also with the longer pit stop. So there's your first, second, third. Wiebelhaus fancies getting the job done before the pit window opens. So has a little look at the Lamborghini. We're heading towards the second pit window, and it will be the punishment time for those that took their short stops early. It will be reward for those who took their long stops early. They've taken the pain early in the race. Now they will gain the track position. There will be a 10-minute window that is open now, and it will be down now to the drivers to decide, and the teams, when to come in, when to pull the pin. You can see from your graphic the leading long stopper is David Schumacher. Second in the long stoppers, Simon Birch. He's going to be in a strong position, peeling off into the pits. Now in comes Finn Wiebelhaus, getting ready to hand over to Salman Ovega. So Ovega, who did the first stint, started on the front row, will be limbering up, ready to get behind the wheel of that car. Schwarzer stays out. My prediction is that he will be in next time around, because Alex Fack will be itching to get behind the wheel of that car. Simon Conner-Prim to the inside. He wants to get the job done before he hands the wheel back to Finn Zulauf. To the outside, to the inside. Alexander Schwarzer, what great driving from a bronze-rated driver, holding off the might of Simon Conner-Prim for as long as he has. Top job from him. In has come Finn Wiebelhaus, Sandra Holzem getting ready to hand back to Giuliano. Tim Zimmermann is also in. He will be handing over to Leighton Fury. Then Felix Neuhofer is in, handing back to Mikael Jus. All of those drivers are onto their pit stops at the moment. Finn Wiebelhaus, who hands over to Salman Ovega, has now done the longer pit stop. So Finn Wiebelhaus having done the short, is now into the long stop. You can see the clock's ticking down as the rest of the cars are into the pits at the moment. Schwarzer and Prim still to come in. David Schumacher in third place is yet to come in, but it will be a shorter stop. In fourth place, Simon Birch, beg your pardon, in the number 14 car. We'll hand over to Leo Pickler, but his will be a short stop too. Denis Bulatov still to come in. Right, we thought it might be this time. That's exactly what's happened. Alexander Schwarzer into the pit lane. Your new race leader, Simon Conor Prim, but he's still got to make that stop. So this is going to be time to roll the dice, keeping to the pit lane speed limit of 60 kilometers an hour. The cars into the pits. Here we come. Out of the pits comes Salmon Ovega, having taken over the wheel of the number 1 car. So out of the pits he comes. And the clock continues to count for the rest of the cars. Schwarzer in, handing over to Alex Fack. Prim staying out. There is Fack. So now the fueling has to be done. The refueler has to be clear of the car. They're only allowed 1 air jack. Yes, this is not a 5-second pit stop. These are longer pit stops. This is a real workout for the team. The refueling has to be clear of the car before the tyre change can start. So Prim out on the track at the moment, but remember, he has got to do a longer stop when he comes in. At the moment, Schumacher still yet to come in, but has done the longer stop. Right, wheels done up, car off the jacks. Now the weight. There'll be a device on the dashboard of the car that will tell the drivers when they need to go. They'll aim to hit the exit line of the pits when the clock strikes 0. You do not want to lose valuable time. Looking at the clock, and it looks like Jonathan Cicotto has gone well over his time. And I wonder whether handing back to Dennis Fetzer, it looks as though the number 2 car might have a problem. Here comes our race leader. Still, Simon Conor Prim staying out on track. He's got a nice open track in front of him at the moment. And hey, look at this. As you were, the 2 cars that were fighting for the lead, of course, now Alex Fack is going to be a lap down, but the Lamborghini will still have to come in for the stop. So very much as you were, the 2 cars that were fighting on the same bit of real estate once again, but a lap apart. And the 33 car still yet to come in. We'll have to do that in this next 6 minutes and 10 seconds. Julian Hanses back in to now hand over to Eduardo Cosseteng. So he is done and dusted. Seeing lots of ticks appearing on the sheet, which is showing which drivers have done their stops. We're still waiting for Bulatov to come in and do his stop in the number 16 car. But Prim staying out late in the window, taking advantage of an open track in front. Alex Fack will be going like the clappers to make up as much space as possible, because remember, number 4 takes a all-round shorter pit stops than those around it. 20.5 minutes remaining, 5.5 minutes of the pit window still open. Our leading stopper at the moment, our leading long stopper, is David Schumacher, Simon Birch, but they have yet to come in for their final stop. And as we suggested, car number 2 with a problem, Jonathan Cicotto, and it looks like Dennis Fetzer is not going to get a second stint behind the wheel of the HRT Mustang. But the other 2 HRT Mustangs very much in a strong position. The number 3 car with David Schumacher at the wheel, who will hand back to Max Rice sometime in the next 4 3/4 minutes. And also we have Finn Wiebelhaus and Salmon Ovega now at the wheel of that car in 8th place overall. But still plenty to come here. Less than 20 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race 5 of the season. ADAC GT Masters, the number 11 car with Leighton Fury at the wheel, having taken back over from Tim Zimmerman, currently in 11th place, but still to shift up. Eduardo Cosseteng in the number 10 car. Still in, I'm just looking to see whether Cosseteng has done, still got the long stop to do for Eduardo Cosseteng. In 9th place, our race leader is Simon Conor Prim. There is the car that is working to catch up. And when the cars in front have made their stop, this is when all the strategy will pay out. Second in the Pro-Ams at the moment. The leading Pro-Am driver is Emil Jerdrum in number 8. But still to make a stop, and in 6th place overall. There is the 33 car leading the way at the moment, still staying out. Simon Conor Prim could still potentially get another couple of laps in before the pit window closes, and then Finn Zulauf will be jumping into the seat of that car. We're still waiting for Emil Yerdrum, Janis Fitcher, Dennis Bulatov, Simon Birch, David Schumacher, and Simon Conner-Prim, all yet to come in. We've got those cars, those 6 cars yet to come in, and Bulatov will have a short stop. Schumacher, no, we'll have a long stop, I beg your pardon. Car 16 will have a long stop to do as challenges continue further back. The car number 1 with Samuel Vega at the wheel, past the number 6 car of Emil Yerdrum, fighting forwards in the pack. Right, in we come then. So this is David Schumacher. This is significant. Also in Dennis Bulatov in the number 16 car, handing back to Nico Hanske. Max Rice, is he on the eve of a first ever race win in ADAC GT Masters? He's done a perfect first stint. He started from pole position. David Schumacher has done a perfect second stint. Now he's back into the seat for the last 17 3/4 minutes, and it's his job to bring this home and maybe score that first ever win. David Schumacher, who sits in for Nicholas Callas, who had that accident yesterday on his e-scooter whilst on a track walk and sadly not able to start the race. But David Schumacher, what a teammate for Max Rice to have as a mentor, a very experienced ex-DTM pilot, a legendary family in the world of GT racing. Here comes Alex Fack. So this is now onto the lead lap for car number 4. Out onto the pit straight comes Alex Fack. The rest of the cars around have peeled off into the pits. So Fack is going to retake the lead of this race once everybody is back out of the pits. Here comes Alex Fack in the background. There is Max Rice. So Alex Fack is going to jump to the front as a result of this. Having said that, we're still waiting for Prim, Birch and Fitcher to come in, but it will be the net lead of the race, I believe, when their stops are done. But we've still got 1 minute and 40 seconds just for that to shake out. There is Samuel Vega, car number 1, in 6th place overall. But with all the stops done and dusted, now Janis Fitcher is into the pits, car 21, handing back to Moritz Viskursen. We're still waiting for Simon Birch and Simon Conner-Prim. That's going to have to be next time around because time is running out. We are 1.25 minutes of the pit window opening. But I do believe that with Alex Fack getting out in front of Max Rice, that he's potentially going to be the race leader once the pit window closes. But we will see how that shakes out. Is it going to be that Max Rice is going to have to get past Alex Fack on the track if he wants to take a first ever win in the ADAC GT Masters? Now into the pits comes Simon Conner-Prim from the lead of the race. Finn Zulauf will be limbering up, ready to take over. We're waiting for Simon Birch to come in to hand over to Leo Pickler. And we already can see that Janis Fitcher has come into the pits to hand back to Moritz Viskursen. So keeping to the pit lane speed limit, the car's coming on in 50 kilometers an hour. That is the speed limit, not 60, and they must not break that. Now Simon Conner-Prim, the clock is ticking. So the crew get to work on the car. The number 33 car, they will have to do a wheel change, but it'll have to be once the refueler is clear of the car. Look at this fight. That is Leighton Fury still fighting out on track. These cars have been glued together all race long, and it's Juliana Holzem who's found a route past. So Leighton Fury having what looks like a fairly traumatic time in front of him. Nico Hanske as well, and just in the background Mikael Joos. These have been scrapping for these positions all race long. These 4 cars have been all together. Now Leighton Fury having a look to the outside of Nico Hanske into turn 1, going the long way around. We've already seen that BMW has a lot more pace along the straight and into turn 1, but he doesn't make it stick. Nico Hanske, who shares that car with Dennis Bulatov, holding on to that position at the moment. That is 10th place. Just behind them is Mikael Joos, making his return for Team Joos Sportwagen Technique. Great to have them here. They're hoping that a good performance this weekend will see some sponsors coming forward so they can compete for the rest of the season. Now Leighton Fury to the inside of Hanske, but he can't get it slowed down. He goes deep into the corner. Hanske says, I'll have that back very much. Now Leighton Fury around the long way round the outside, then back to the inside. Finally makes it stick. Leighton Fury in that 10th place make that 9th place, having relegated Juliana Holzer. Right, here come cars out of the pits now. So Fak is the race leader as we speak at the moment. Out comes Finn Zulauf. This is Max Rice, but Rice has got the momentum into the corner. Also there's Salman Vega. So this is for second place in the race. Alex Fak well clear at the moment. We'll have a look at the gaps in just a few moments, but keeping one eye on this. So Max Rice holding off the number 33 car, fending it off, and Finn Zulauf being relegated further down the order. Also there, great strategy. So Simon Birch, who's handed over to Leo Pickler, now in a position as well to take advantage. So Alex Fak is in front, but we're just going to see how this shakes out once they cross the start-finish line. We'll get some times. At the moment, it's Fak from Rice, from Ovega. So we've seen these two cars getting together already in this race, Rice and Ovega. They may be sister cars, but they both want to win. Look how hard in the background that Leo Pickler is pushing in the number 14 car out along the back straight, once again into the Vidal chicane, under braking. Max Rice in second place. This could be for the race lead, it could be for second, it could be for third. This is the podium positions that are fighting. There is the car that was at the front just now with the pit stops done and dusted. Finn Zulauf in 5th place, looking fairly vulnerable to Jonas Karklees, also in the Lamborghini. So Lamborghini versus Lamborghini. Look at this, 2nd place and 3rd glued together. Right into the inside goes Ovega, under braking. Now will Rice try and tuck back? Will he give a little punt like his sister car did last time around? Maybe not. Around turn 2, they come up towards turn 3. At the moment, it's Alex Fak leading the way. Right, the gap, 11.516 between Alex Fak and the 2nd place duo, the HRT cars that are fighting each other, Max Rice, but now Salman Ovega. So what can Ovega do about Alex Fak? Leading the way, 11.5 seconds. Alex Fak, who is silver rated and very, very rapid. We've seen him in Porsche 6 Carrera Cup Germany. We've seen him in Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup. Will we see him and Alexander Schwarzer taking their first ever win in ADAC GT Masters? Second in the Pro-Ams, Jonas Karklees, with the pit sequences done and dusted, has moved up into 6th place. So there is Ovega. Right, 11.516. That is the magic number between 1st and 2nd. We've got 11.21 left of this race. 11 minutes and 15 seconds make that. So what can Salman Ovega do to reel in the Porsche in front? Can it be that a Pro-Am pairing will win in ADAC GT Masters for the first time ever in the overall race? It will be a historic moment if they can do it. They've just got to stay in front, and with Alex Fak at the wheel, you could not be in better hands. Salman Ovega leads Max Rice, the pole sitter, in 3rd place. Max, who started on pole position at the Red Bull Ring last year, and was only able to bring it home in 4th place. Has had a couple of 3rd places already. One at Oschersleben last year, one at Lausitzring this year. Would dearly love to move up a couple of steps on the podium. But the sister car with Salman Vega at the wheel at the moment looks to have the pace behind Leo Pickler in car 14. So what is the gap between Pickler and Rice? It is 2.835. So at the moment, Rice looking fairly solid for a podium position, but I think that's probably not what he had in mind when he started this race on pole position. 10 minutes remaining of this race 5 of the season. An endurance race, the first of 2 endurance races this weekend in the ADAC GT Masters here at the Nürburgring. 10 minutes to go, plus 1 lap. Alex Fak leads the way. The gap, 12.053. So Fak, at the moment, looks to have Ovega covered off. And this would be an historic win. If Alex Fak can make this happen, it would be a first ever Pro-Am win in ADAC GT Masters. Alex Fak, along with Alexander Schwarzer, have always been so close. They got a 2nd at Zandvoort and at Spa last year in the overall race. Certainly leading in the Pro-Ams, although Jonas Karklees and Emil Yildirim in the other of the Pro-Am cars doing a sterling job in 6th place. But they don't seem to have the pace for the Porsche at the moment. Another of the Porsches there, Leo Pickler, in 4th place, lined up behind Finn Zulauf. And there is Jonas Karklees. So what can they do about that? So the battle of the fourth rages on. There's Nico Hanska. There's the number 10 car coming under pressure from the Team Sport Use Wagen Technique Porsche. So Eduardo Cosseteng and Julian Hanses look very potent at Zandvoort. Struggling a bit for pace here at the Nürburgring today, but tomorrow things might be different. And coming under a lot of pressure, Leo Pickler in fourth place. Finn Zulauf finds that gap, moves through. So Pickler relegated down to fifth place. Zulauf is up. Now behind is Jonas Karklees. He also fancies following through as well. Jonas Karklees in the Liquimoli Team Excellent Nord VPN by GRT Lamborghini. Just following in the tracks. There is fourth place. He looks to be clear at the moment. So breaking clear. Finn Zulauf out onto the pit straight. Pickler will register down a position from the previous lap, past the big crowd that are watching here as part of the Truck Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. 8 minutes remaining of this race. Can Pickler hold on to that fifth place? Jonas Karklees with the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini certainly looking very rapid here at the Nürburgring this weekend. Into turn one, round to turn two, they come once again. Second gear, then to fourth gear, around fairly fast corner, taking about 160 kilometers an hour. And then round into turn four, they will come, which is a right-hander coming up next. And then it's a slight downhill towards the hairpin of turn five, which will be taken in second gear. And out of turn five, into the next sector, they will come towards turn six. Taken in third gear, a fast corner. And the Lamborghini has that gap on the inside. Fak leading the way still, 12.9 seconds. So Salman Vega doesn't look to be able to do anything about Alex Fak at the moment. Fak with that gap, you can see that is what nearly 13 seconds looks like, and you can see how hard Salman Vega is pushing. The car doing the wall of death over the Vidal chicane, up onto two wheels. In third place, Max Rice. Is that as far as he's going to go? Finn Zulauf, is he closing in on Max Rice? The gap back looks to be closing up, so this could all change. 6 3/4 minutes, just under. Out along the pit straight once again, the gap continues to open up. 13.391 between first and second, then 3.76 back to third place, then 2.867 back to fourth. Then Leo Pickler. We've seen him in the battles. Leo Pickler in the Porsche. So there is Pickler. Now it looks like Pickler has lost a position. So Jonas Karklees has found a route past Pickler. That Lamborghini is absolutely dialed in. So the Pro-Am partnership of Jonas Karklees and Emil Yerdrum picking up a position from the championship leaders. That is no mean feat. In 14th, the number 14 car, Leo Pickler, along with Simon Birch, being relegated a position down to 6th place. Meanwhile, Max Rice is starting to be hunted down by Finn Zulauf. Can Max Rice hold on to the last of the podium positions? 5.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. So still everything up in the air. The leader looks to be comfortable. 13.391 to the good of Alex Fak. Salman Vega in second place. This is third place. And again, Max Rice pushing hard on that car. Have they taken too much out of the tyres? Are the tyres moving out of the temperature window? We don't know that. We don't have that data. But one thing appears to be clear, and that is that Finn Zulauf is closing in, fancies a bit of silverware, fancies a haul of points coming into this race. Finn Zulauf and Simon Conor Prim were 16 points off the race lead. So if the race finished now, Leo Pickler and Simon Birch would pick up points for 5th place. Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman, who were in second coming into this race, they are currently in 9th place, so the gap between them would open up. Eduardo Cosseteng and Julian Hanses, they are a long way back in this race at the moment, in 12th place. So they would be looking to try and close in on that championship lead, but Ovega and Wiebelhaus would pick up points for second. That would move them to within 7 of the championship lead if the race finished now. Max Rice, who shares with David Schumacher, currently in that 3rd place. would also pick up valuable points, but would not close in enough on the lead. And this is the battle here for third place. If Finn Zulauf could get past the car in front, if Finn Zulauf could get past Max Rice, it would be just 11 points off the championship lead if he could make it up into that third place. But there's still 3 3/4 minutes remaining of this race. It's still Alex Fack very much in control, looking for a historic first ever Pro-Am win in the ADAC GT Masters. Salman Vega in the second place, trying to close in but not succeeding. The Mustangs looking to be struggling for pace in the second half of this race. That is borne out by Max Rice, who's going to have to make that Mustang as wide as he possibly can with less than 3.5 minutes remaining. Finn Zulauf looks to have the bit between his teeth. He has a little look to the outside, ducks to the outside again, late braking. Max Rice picking up as much curb, but he leaves a gap on the inside. The inside becomes the outside. The two cars running side by side. Rice kicking the dust up into the air. He has a nose in front, but there is just not the pace in that Mustang. And now Finn Zulauf into the last of the podium positions, relegating Max Rice out of the podium and into fourth place. Still good points, but not what he had in mind from that pole position. So the man moving forwards, Finn Zulauf, into third place, along with Simon Conner-Prim. That would be a really good points haul for them, getting them right into the championship hunt. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything about Salman Vega, who's some distance up the road, and he is some 14 seconds back from the race leader, bumping over the curbs of the Vidal chicane. 5.2 seconds is the gap from third back to fourth. So this is as far as Finn Zulauf is going to go, barring mistakes and mechanical failures. 2.25 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. There is Salman Vega in second, but third place. Has Max Rice got anything to come back at that Lamborghini? That is looking mighty around here. Maybe just trying to pressure Finn Zulauf into a mistake. Jonas Karklees proving the might of the Lamborghini. In the background, Leo Pickler there as well. So, 1 3/4 minutes remaining. Great stuff here from the ADAC GT Masters. Alex Fack in control on the eve of a first ever win. Further back, that is Holzem to the inside of Viscursion. That is for 7th place. So Holzem in the BMW. Also there, Leighton Fury, who has been very much in the battles here in this race, will be probably fairly disappointed with a 9th place. You can see 2 places just in front of him. Getting past the Mercedes is one thing, getting past the other BMW might be another. Time is running out though. 1.25 minutes plus 1 lap in the background. There's Nico Hanska there as well. Now Fury to the inside. Viscursion looking very vulnerable to the BMW. Tries to come back on the inside, but he's going to have the faster line around the corner. Power on for the BMW. And steals that position away. There's some dust rising up there as drivers are pushing hard now. I wonder who kicked that up into the air. I haven't seen any changes at the moment. So our race leader, I believe, has just crossed the start-finish line. So it'll be this lap plus 1 more in this race, race 5 of the season in the ADAC GT Masters. And if things remain as they are, it will be history in the making. A first ever win for Alex Fack, a first ever win for Alexander Schwarzer, and the first ever win for a Pro-Am pairing in the ADAC GT Masters. But there's still time for things to change. Zulauf continues to press on, but he's now too far back from Salman Vega to do anything about it. Ovega, who is 5.132 clear. The clock continues to tick down as we head towards 0, and then it will be whatever remains of that lap plus 1 more. Viscursion now coming under attack from Nico Hanska, and that is for the 9th place. So Hanska intense, looking to relegate the yellow and black Mercedes, has the gap on the inside. Viscursion, who shares that car with Janis Fitcher. Right, here we go then. It's Alex Fack about to start what will be a last lap of the race for Fack Autotech. Out along the pit straight, there is the confirmation. It is the final lap of the race. What an historic race it has been for Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer, because Alex Fack did the hard work yesterday morning. He put that car on the outside front row, and he has taken the lead of the race along with Alexander Schwarzer. In second place, Salman Ovega has thrown everything at it, along with Finn Wiebelhaus, the pole sitter. Max Rice, along with David Schumacher, had nothing they could do about Simon Conner-Prim and Finn Zulauf, who have taken the last of the podium positions at the moment as we start the final lap of the race for the remaining cars. The leading car in the race is Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer. The leading Pro-Am car is also Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer. Now it's just down to Alex Fack to bring it home and to take what will be a memorable win for them. Everybody behind just pushing hard, hoping that the car in front will make a mistake. There is Jonas Karkling, a solid job showing us behind, but is in fact ahead of Leo Pickler. This battle continues to race on. That is Juliana Holzem. Leighton Fury fancies a few extra points in the closing stages of this race. BMW versus BMW, the South African versus the German driver in the background. Here comes, though, Alexander Schwarzer and Alex Fack at the wheel. An historic win in the ADAC GT Masters, race 5 of the season. A first ever win for Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer. A first ever win for a Pro-Am pairing in this series. Now across the line comes Simon Vega along with Finn Wiebelhaus. Solid job from them in the Mustang. And then it is the number 33 car, Simon Conner-Prim and Finn Zulauf at the wheel. Our pole sitter Max Rice along with David Schumacher shuffled off the podium in the closing stages of this race. Next across the line, that is Jonas Karkling. And then it is celebrations. There is Alexander Schwarzer being picked up in the FAC Autotech garage. Yes, the number 8 car, I believe the transponders, it's the Ladniak that was there in the other of the Lamborghinis. I beg your pardon, the two identical red, white and blue Lamborghinis, but there you can see. So it was solid points for Leo Pickler, but what a win. Alex Fack did all the hard work at the start. Alexander Schwarzer took over and made all that work pay off, and it was an historic win for the FAC Autotech Porsche, a first ever win for this driver duo in the ADAC GT Masters, a first ever win for a Pro-Am pairing, really propelling them not only to the top of the Pro-Am Championship, but also well up in the hunt for the overall championship. I think probably the most disappointed driver will be Max Rice, because he did all the hard work, but it looked like that Mustang was potentially losing pace towards the end of the race. An incident between 8 and 6 is under investigation. So sister cars once again, and that'll be the two Liquimoli Team Engstler cars, are under investigation for forcing each other off the track. We knew they were running at roughly the same place, so the steward's having a look at that. So that's another team that might have some awkward conversations over dinner tonight. But FAC Autotech, and what a job. We knew this was going to come eventually, this win. The Swiss driver and the German driver, what a pairing that has proven to be. And a black and white flag was awarded to car number 8. That'll be Jonas Karkling for maybe giving the elbow to Simon Ladniak in the closing stages of the race. The black and white flag doesn't mean there's any penalty issued at the moment, but may well do if there are more that are incoming and could end up with a grid drop. 3 black and white flags equaling 3 reprimands and a grid drop. But that is the car that steals the headlines. Fat Tina, I think that is, the red and white Porsche, now just picking up the rubber and the dirt on the slick tyres to make sure they reach the minimum weight required for these cars. Into the pit lane they will come. But what an historic win. Alex Fack, Alexander Schwarzer, what a duo. And we always knew that Alex Fack was quick, but Alexander Schwarzer was not the quickest when he started, we're going to be honest, but over the last couple of years has got quicker and quicker and quicker, and with the coaching from his co-driver, Alex Fack has turned into, well, you wonder whether a silver rating may be incoming before too long, because he is really very rapid. Yeah, you parked in the wrong place, mate. So the team getting to work. I think you've got to go to Parc Fermé. You can't just put it back in the garage. So Alex Fack, maybe the celebrations and the excitement of that win, and he will go round to the podium, and we will see that hopefully shortly. It was 51 laps in this endurance race for Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer, Samuel Vega, Finn Wiebelhaus, Finn Zulauf, and Simon Conner-Prim. There's your 1, 2, 3 ahead of Max Rice and David Schumacher, the pole-sitting car, Leo Pickler, Simon Birch, the Holzem twins in 6 ahead of Leighton Fury, Tim Zimmermann, and then Jonas Karklees, Emil Yerdrum on the naughty step, having had that black and white flag for forcing off their teammate. They are second in the Pro-Ams and 8th overall. In 9th place, it'll be Nico Hanska and Denis Bulatov. Of course, all of these positions very much subject to confirmation. The stewards will need to review any videos. Also, the cars will be checked. 10th place, Moritz Verskirchen ahead of Janis Fitcher, Michael Jus and Felix Neuhofer. A great comeback to the ADAC GT Masters for the first time in a couple of years for Team Jus Sportwagen Technique. And of course, team boss Michael Jus. Eduardo Cosseteng, Julian Hanses, that was not the day they were hoping for. Simon Ladniak and Tim Hooter, good start for them. And so Hooter making his debut in GT3, proper GT3 racing, let's put it that way. 2 non-finishers as well. We lost Carrie Schreiner. Alan Valente never even got to sit behind the wheel of that car. We also lost Jonathan Chicotto and Dennis Fetzer in the 3rd of the HRT Mustangs. Clearly some mechanical issues are going on there. So the safety truck peeling off into the pit lane, and we will get confirmation as to whether we will get a podium or not. But by my calculations, I believe, looking at the points situation, that Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmermann will be within 5 points of the championship lead. So you can see there from the highlights, it was a very, very busy race. Lots of action. The endurance race format, which is proving to be very, very popular. And it was the number 1 car with Samuel Vega that got past Max Rice at the very start. May have been a little bit of contact there as well. The stewards had a look at, and it was Barry Schreiner who went no further as a result of an incident. The oil dropped onto the track, then the visit to the penalty box, not for the punt into the teammate, but for a false start. Car number 1, Salmon O Vega. Some great dicing up and down the field. The Mustangs, 3 of them in the race, and it felt a little bit like they had the pace at the beginning, but were struggling a bit with the pace of those Mustangs towards the end. Team HRT, of course, who have been running Mercedes-AMG for many, many years. Their first year running the Ford Mustang, running it here at the GT Masters. Look at Alex Fack taking that wide line into the pits. Also running the Mustang in DTM as well. It's a steep learning curve, and I think they're exceeding expectations, to be quite honest. Certainly getting the results here in GT Masters and in DTM as well. It may well have been the incident that we saw getting a black and white flag for between the 2 GRT, the Liqui Engsler cars, and the Power Motorsport number 33 car, which was on a mission, put all the pressure on during the race. Alexander Schwarzer putting all of his skills to good use to fend off the positions. The fight amongst some of these cars that seem to be all race long. Honourable mention to the number 16 crew, Denis Bulatov and Nico Hanska, who were in the wars in a car that didn't really look like it had the grunt, but certainly what they lacked in straight line speed, they certainly made up for in skill. And you could see Alex Fack lighting up the tyres of the Porsche as he came out of the pits. We lost the number 2 with Dennis Fetzer and Jonathan Chicotto. And the final pit stop, when all was done and dusted, and even without that shorter pit stop, you do get the feeling that Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer may well have been there or thereabouts at the end. Such is the pace of this duo. They might be Pro-Am, but they are most certainly contenders in the overall championship as well. And the fights continued all the way through. Great to see the Mustangs just finding their pace, but not really coping with the endurance and the pace seeming to disappear potentially in the last maybe 20 minutes of the race. The BMWs looking strong in a straight line speed as well. The Lamborghinis certainly coming on as the race went on. Simon Conner-Prim and Finn Zulauf very, very quick in the number 33 car. Leighton Fury never scared to get his elbows out, and Tim Zimmermann, what a potent duo those two are. But what an historic win for Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer. That's how light he is. They managed to pick him up as we look from the perspective of Nürburgring Castle. And there are the points. Well, what about my maths then? According to this, Leighton Furr and Tim Zimmerman just 3 points behind Leo Pickler and Simon Birch. So it really is closing in. Salmon Vega is 5 points adrift, along with Finn Wiebelhaus, Finn Zulaf, Simon Conner-Prim, also very much in the championship hunt. In fact, not really anybody who's out of the hunt. Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer move right into the standings as well. And Max Rice, he will be disappointed, but 19 points adrift, certainly not out of it. Eduardo Cosseteng, Julian Hanses, really tough day for them. They'll have a good look at the data and come back tomorrow. 19 points adrift. And then Dennis Bulletov, Nico Hanske, 22 points back. Jonas Karklees, 28 points back from the lead. So I'm just waiting for confirmation to see if we can bring you the podium. It's a special podium that is built here for the Truck Grand Prix here at the Nürburgring. It's a very different kind of atmosphere. For those that are used to the GT environment, well, this is full of truckies with their horns and stuff. They get loads of them on the track for a parade at one point during the weekend. Just Arctic lorries that circulate around the track, and it fills the entire track. There is no space, and they're all out there sounding their horns. It's a novel moment for the first 10 minutes. After about half an hour, it makes you want to go and hide. But that's another story. That's truck racing versus GT racing. But it's a great platform. It's a great shop window, because we've seen it in the last couple of years. Many drivers, many fans look at GT racing and they discover it. Many of the truck racing fans discover that actually that GT racing can be spectacular and is spectacular. And GT Masters is something very spectacular too. So we can see the announcer on to the podium. And we just wait now for some drivers to appear. If it's done in reverse order, it will be the number 33 pairing first. And right, here we go. Finn Zulaf and Simon Conner-Prim. We're going 3, 2, 1. Here they come.
Einen Glückwunsch an die Zweitplatzierten.
Herzlichen Glückwunsch an Salman Vega und Finn Wiebelhaus. Salmon Vega and Finn Wiebelhaus, here they come next.
Und der Sieg im ersten Rennen
HRT.
geht an die Mannschaft.
I think they'll be happy with that. There's Finn Zulaf. He stood on the top step and looked like he had for 1 minute. And there is Salmon Vega. But look at this, a first ever win in ADAC GT Masters for Alex Fack and Alexander Schwarzer to the top step of the podium in the overall race for the first time ever. And they're going to need a wheelbarrow to get their trophies home, because they're going to get them for the Pro-Am win as well. And Fack Autotech will send a representative onto the podium. And there will be some celebrations in the Fack Autotech team tonight. So time for the national anthem. So the Swiss national anthem, we believe, echoing out around Nürburgring. There's a lot of waiting going on, and I can't actually hear it at the moment. So maybe they're rummaging around out the back for a CD, because it's not often we get the Swiss national anthem. Great to hear. And Fack Autotech, the legendary Swiss team. Of course, Alex Fack Sr., who runs that team, great guy, and his son, Alex Fack Jr., who's there on the right-hand side, Alexander Schwarzer, who is on the left. on the top set of the podium. Well, I believe there has been a national anthem. We didn't get the audio from that, so apologies. You can pick up on Spotify later and do your own national anthem. But the big crowd here at the Nürburgring will have loved what they saw here. A race of real strategy, a race where the teams have had to work hard, the drivers have had to work hard, all about when to take the long stop and the short stop. The trophies, Jürgen Verheuel, who presents the winner's trophy and shakes hands with Finn Zulauf and Simon Conner-Prim. We've got one trophy there. There should be one each, I think. Oh, here's the other one. Good. The trophies are quite heavy, so they're going to bring them out one at a time. There's Kai Winkler, who is presenting to Alex Fack, who's looking very happy indeed. We saw him win in Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, and that was a memorable moment, wasn't it? And then Samuel Vega on the left, Finn Wiebelhaus on the right in the green, white and red overalls. Very snazzy. And for the third place drivers, it's not Finn Wiebelhaus, Finn Zulauf, that'll be it. Marvin Utner, who presents their trophies. So Finn Zulauf on the left, Simon Conner-Prim on the right. And there'll be more trophies for the Pro-Am winners as well. There'll be a team trophy next, I should think, for Fack Autotech. I'd love to tell you the name of the man with the glasses, but we will just call him Mr. Fack Autotech Mechanic. Do a great job there. We had hoped that Fack Autotech, they did at one point rumour there might be a second car on the grid, and would love to see that at some point in GT Masters. And now the winners in the Pro-Am category. Here we go once again, the rep from Pirelli, and you can see Alexander Schwarzer. You can see how delighted he is as well. So, any more trophies to come? I think that's probably about it. Have we got any more? We've got several championships, but I think those are the only ones for the trophies. So, the bottles will be uncorked. The torpedo, well, we'll send Alex Fack to Torpedo School there to learn how to launch one of those. But the celebrations will start here at the Nürburgring to conclude race 5 of the season. If you enjoyed it today, we get to do it all again tomorrow. We say rinse, repeat, but I guarantee it will be a different result. The 1, 2, 3 will have success ballast on board their cars, so that's going to slow them down. It will be another endurance race tomorrow. We will be back on air 4:05 local time, and then we will be at the halfway point of the season. I do hope you've enjoyed our coverage here from the Nürburgring here on this Saturday afternoon. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the halfway point of the season. It will be race 6 of the ADAC GT Masters season 2025. ADAC GT Masters. We are go. The car's found out, and he's given the squeeze. Look at this, side by side. Pulling out right in front, and really good close racing. Wonderful